Today's case is a posterior cervical lymph node biopsy. At this power, we can appreciate many reactive follicles. These reactive follicles are composed of outer darker naive B cells and central pale area of germinal center. These outer darker naive B lymphocytes are terminally differentiated B lymphocytes. Since they are terminally differentiated, they have got a condensed chromatin because their chromatin is inactive, so they appear dark blue. Now let us focus at the central area of germinal center. The area of germinal center appears pale because in this area cells differentiate into centroblast and centrocyte. Since they are differentiating into centroblast and centrocyte, they have a dispersed chromatin because their chromatin unwinds and they appear paler. So outer darker area of naive mature B lymphocyte and central lighter area of germinal center. These constitute the reactive follicle. Also we can see here these pale eosinophilic areas in between. Here also we can see some pale eosinophilic areas. Now let us focus at the high power view of a reactive follicle. Here is a reactive follicle. Here we can see outer darker rim of naive mature B lymphocyte. These naive mature B lymphocytes are terminally differentiated B lymphocytes, so they have got a condensed chromatin, so they appear dark blue. Cytoplasm is very scant, so not appreciable. What we appreciate is the dark round blue nucleus. Now let us focus at the area of germinal center. These germinal center are centroblast and centrocyte. Antigen presentation occurs and the cells differentiate into centroblast and centrocytes. Since they are differentiating into centroblast and centrocytes, their chromatin unwinds and they have got a dispersed chromatin or paler chromatin. So central area appears paler. The cells differentiate into centroblast. Centroblast then becomes centrocyte. Then centrocytes with unfavorable mutation will die and those with favorable mutation will become memory cells and plasma cells. Here we can see a centroblast with a dispersed chromatin and sometimes 1 to 2 peripheral nucleoli can be seen. Centrocyte will have cleaved nuclear outline. And another point is the centrocytes with unfavorable mutation dies, so their debris are taken by these macrophages with abundant cytoplasm, and these cells with abundant cytoplasm, debris of the dead cells, are known as tingible body macrophages, and we can see more of them. So these centroblasts, centrocytes and tingible body macrophages constitute the reactive follicles. Now let us see other pictures. Here again we can see the reactive follicles with outer darker rim of naive mature B cell and central paler area of the germinal center. And we can also appreciate some pale eosinophilic area in between. So this is reactive follicle and some pale eosinophilic areas also seen in between. This pale eosinophilic area. Now let us focus at the eosinophilic area. They are composed of these cells with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, indistinct cell border, and oval to elongated nucleus with one or two nucleoli. So these cells with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, indistinct cell border, and oval to elongated nucleus, these clusters of epithelioid histiocytes, these small clusters of epithelioid histiocytes, also known as microgranuloma. And we can also appreciate these cells with a small round dark nuclei and abundant clear cytoplasm. These are monocytoid B cells. B cells since they express CD20. Now here again we can appreciate clusters of epithelioid histiocyte with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, indistinct cell border, oval to elongated nucleus, and they are involving the germinal center here because we can see these dispersed cells, the cells with a dispersed chromatin. And here again we can see monocytoid B cells with round dark nucleus and abundant clear cytoplasm. So there is a clusters of microgranuloma composed of cells with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, indistinct cell border, oval to elongated nucleus. These clusters of epithelioid histiocytes or microgranuloma. Then reactive follicle with a germinal center and monocytoid B cells. These triad of finding constitute a diagnosis of Toxoplasma lymphadentis. Here again we can see the clusters of epithelioid histiocytes with abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, indistinct cell border, oval to elongated nucleus, and also we can appreciate the monocytoid B cells in this picture. These monocytoid B cells having abundant clear cytoplasm, round dark center nucleus, and here are the clusters of epithelioid histiocytes or microgranuloma. So these classic triad of microgranuloma, reactive follicle, and monocytoid B cells, these constitute a diagnosis of Toxoplasma lymphadentis. The definitive host for Toxoplasma is cat, definitive host in which sexual reproduction takes place. They passes the oocyst in the stool. Then we, the intermediate host, get the disease. It is important to make a diagnosis of Toxoplasma lymphadentis for three important reasons. One, we can exclude a diagnosis of lymphoma. So this will be a great relief to the patient. The second is, in immunocompromised host, they can cause fatal diseases and they can involve central nervous system, heart, etc. Other thing is, there can be transplacental transfer and fetal toxoplasmosis can occur. So it is important to make a diagnosis of Toxoplasma lymphadentis. That is all about Toxoplasma. Subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you.